So put in for a certificate of deposit. Um, on yesterday's game, I want to introduce that on yesterday's scorecard on Major League Baseball. What I'm doing is that I'm vising the whole Major League Baseball under one scorecard. And that's been pretty much working out for me. Essentially, when you Google Major League Baseball, it'll be a list of teams that come up daily, and they have different games. So each of those days represents, in my book, a situation that you can bet on. So yesterday they had a bet on sovereigns like myself that raise money and go out here and do the things that we do with no capital. And they're like, if you don't have any money, how could you be worth anything? So we introduced something to them called the certificate of deposit. And they had a bet with me yesterday. It was a bet. And they betted that they would one out my account on a 1-0 binary code, like I was telling you guys a few videos back. If a 1-0 drops, that essentially annuities any account or any count for that particular time. So they pretty much betted that they would annuity all of my accounts yesterday. And it was, a friendly bet. This is a donation. When I say a bet, it's a way for you to make money, and that's what I'm gonna get into now in a second. So we had a friendly little bet or whatever. Essentially, is what it was between me and brother Shamant and or sister. I'm not sure exactly. It was a silent bet through PayPal, so I'm not sure if this is a brother or sister. But the estate name Shamant. I'll just say that. Put up a nice bet, or what you would call a donation, to our PayPal account, which is 13signsastrology@gmail.com. So anything that a person donates, I treat this as a bet. You might just look at it as a donation and may just move on with your life, and that's fine. But I treat all funds as a bet. And he actually wrote, or she wrote, and they were aware that this was a bet, so that's why I'm making this episode. And they were like, can you do a video on what happened with this little money that I'm helping with, because I'm just interested in it. So that's why I'm doing this episode. It was like a small donation. It wasn't a lot. It was our only donation yesterday, actually. And that's why I'm making this episode, because they put this in the footnotes that they wanted me to do an episode after the fact. So an annuity dropped on the international level, and I'll do a video on that soon. But I'll just go ahead and finish up with the concept of a certificate of deposit. So like under scenarios when I don't get a bet or a donation on a particular day, what happens is that I just have to create a certificate of deposit which documents all the cash or statement of what I generated for that day. So it's kind of like being an independent contractor or worker for yourself. And what I essentially do is use what's called minimum wage, which is the bottom line. And I'm basically make my certificate daily off of minimum wage, because myself, I'm poor, literally, so I have to use minimum wage. There are other sovereigns out there that may be rich, good for you, you know what I'm saying? You ain't really got to use this process. This is for somebody like myself that has a lot of credit and that had access to a lot of fiat notes in the past, but had to give up everything and start over, is essentially what I did or whatever. So, and what I'm doing. So essentially, I'm poor or whatever, so I have to use fiat notes, certificates to make it. And there's a certain way I'm initiated into a secret society that, luckily, before I went broke, that not only teaches you how to create these certificates, but they actually store them as a bank, literally, and document this. And this particular bank is in Roswell. It's based out of Roswell, Georgia, and going into Bankhead, Georgia. So it's actually a host of banks, or a landline, actually a tract of land that goes from Roswell all the way to Bankhead, and that's where this is done at. This particular process is done at, that I'm speaking about or whatever on the certificate. So what I mean by this is that a lot of the stuff that I talk about that you can do with your body, myself personally, I'm certified in it. So it's like when you invest in me, because they like, well, I can do this myself. Like, why should I invest in you? And that's pretty much what the bet was about yesterday. Like, why should I invest in you if I can cross water myself? I can do all the stuff that you talk about on your videos and learn from you and maybe pay you a donation, and that's it. And then why should I continue? It's like, because I'm certified on a high level to where I'm certified up to millions of dollars. And myself personally, daily though, to trade daily on the stock. So I get a regeneration every day of credit though. I can't cash out on it. You have to remember that. These are credits. So it's essentially like back in the day when you guys would go to the arcade and you would put your money in and you would put $5 in and you would get tokens, right? But you couldn't play the arcade games unless you had tokens. You couldn't put cash in the arcade game. You have to put in a token. So that's essentially my scenario. I'm token rich in my scenario. Millions of dollars that convert to sports units and units of stocks, all type of units of measurement. However, if a person doesn't cash out, which the whole world damn near hates me for whatever reason, because they know I'm rich, you know what I'm saying? So that's the bottom line. You're rich, you have to, like I was saying, pay yourself last. So they, you know what I'm saying? I have to certify myself insure myself for in cases like that. So what happens if everybody's like, fuck you, we're not paying you anything, we hate you, and you in a realm and you stuck? You're like, so what am I gonna do? You still have to participate in trade every day in this scenario because you are a sovereign, you are responsible. You don't have a job. Nobody's gonna write you a check. Nobody's gonna buy their product from your business because you're a sovereign. You don't have a business. Remember that. You can operate as a business within your sovereign realm, but to other outside entities in countries or capital or whatever, they may consider what you're doing as nothing. They may even put sanctions on you like they do me and say, we're not going to give you nothing. I'm going to be out here starving some days. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. Starving daily because this is what I go through. They're like, we're just not going to feed this guy today. Yeah, we could get millions of dollars in credit and cash out of him, but we just don't want to. And I mean, that's the way the game goes. I mean, I can't complain about that. So I have to compete. Every day as I'm telling you how you have to compete as a sovereign. So I compete through a certified process. They had a bet, put a bet on me to say, we're going to shut this guy down. And I'm like, you can't shut me down in this area unless you hit an annuity on me today. That was the bet. It has to be today, which was yesterday, actually. And they didn't do it. And an annuity failed. And that goes into something else. But they weren't able to drop the annuity. And they were, and like a discovery came up. And I had to kind of show them based upon the point structure. It was 3-0 on the final bet. And the Atlanta Braves is the team that we use actually to certify. The Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks actually are the two main teams. And then actually the Athletics as well, though. And the Giants as well. So there's a few main teams that we use with the certified process to certify Padres, couple teams out there that we use to certify. However, that certification process had to be revealed. So I had to make this video or whatever, proving that whatever I do with my body, when I monetize, even with my phone or my devices, everything that I'm worth daily is turned into a certificate. And it's certified, embedded. So if you give me a donate $20, $30, whatever, to me, I'm happy about that, and that's fine. And that could be equated to different levels depending on your city and state and what your baseball team is, and you can go look up your point structure. Like this person said he wanted a $50 cap off what he donated to me, meaning that he wanted $50 or 5 points off the Major League Baseball. And I'm going to tell you, Shamant, to reference the Cubs. Reference the Cubs. This battery's going to shut down, and that's where your credit is lying at the Chicago Cubs. So we put out a bet process. The certification process was revealed. Everything turns into fiat notes. I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down and come up with more as more information was revealed, because I got to go into this new annuity on the Continental flag. Y'all, it's deep. They dropped an annuity on the Continental flag. Going into some stuff about the United States that can kind of get scary, and the prison planet. It's going to get deep. I learned so much from betting on sports, man, internationally. So I'll be coming up with more info when I can. You guys stay vigilant. Thank you.